Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Bit of a treat today. We had last week a few of the spoilers appear for the next standard set that's coming out. Ravnica Murders at Karlov Manor, if I remember correctly, I think the set's called. And one of the previews was one of my favourite Angel cards ever, and I'm so glad that they're back with a whole new card. And obviously I'm talking about Aurelia, the Law Above. 3 red and white for a 4/4. Legendary creature angel. Flying Vigilance Haste. Like that for a start. But whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. And whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia, the Law Above deals 3 damage to each of your opponents and you gain 3 life. Now this card is in the main set, but it's going to be great in Commander. I mean, how many times are you playing a game where your opponents are attacking you with 3 creatures, 4 creatures, maybe even 5 creatures? Drawing a card and gaining 3 and dealing 3 to everyone else on the board is nice, but it says a player, so it counts you as well. So you can be attacking with 3 creatures and you kill 5 creatures and getting it that way. It's great. I really enjoy it. Now, in Commander, we have a very nice mechanic that will help us get there and keep us alive a little bit, and I'm sure we've all played against it at some stage, and that's Goad. And my deck today, as a little bit of a treat, is going to be looking at how we can build this with Goad. Now, 2 things I'm going to say before we go any further. Firstly, we don't know much about what's in the Murders at Karlov Manor set yet, so there may be cards we can add in that will make this deck even better, so bear that in mind. And secondly, this is just a starting point. I think, we're going to have Commander decks for this set. Because of the ability here, we might see some new Goad cards. I don't know. But we will see. So, here we go. This is what today's deck looks like. Oh, and before I go any further, obviously, not doing this on MTGO. It's going to be on the Goldfish website. So, yeah, there's a link down below. And hopefully, if you're first time here, you've hit the subscribe button now. So, please do so. Right, here we go. Okay, so obviously, Aurealia's here. And then we're going to creatures. We're doing 25 creatures, but some of them do have abilities that we need for this deck. Obviously, it's a red deck, so Dockside's here. It's becoming so standard now in most Commander decks, you really do need to pick one up if you haven't got one, in my opinion. Grenzo, Havoc Raider. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one. Go target creature that player controls. So there's one way of making someone attack something that's not you, but it's one of the creatures. Or exile the top card of that player's library. You can cast until the end of the turn and spend mana of any colour. That's fine. That's cool. Agitator Ant. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Those creatures then get goaded. Now, Agitator Ant, I'll be honest, when I've played this in Commander online, it becomes a very big lightning bolt attractor or a sword attractor or a banishing attractor that just does tend to die. However, people may be a bit more inclined to keep it around nowadays. I think people have forgotten how big it can be. And in Pakatal, the 1000th moon makes an appearance in here. We want to be attacking with as many creatures as possible, so having no non-gnome creatures attacking and then getting some gnomes in and attacking. Okay, won't trigger Aurelia at the start, but next turn you'll have a load of things you can attack with, so it helps. Bothersome Quasit from one of the Commander's sets, Battle for Baldur's Gate, if I remember correctly. Menace, go to creatures your opponents control can't block. That's quite nice. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, go target creature an opponent controls. Gets you around the big boys, doesn't it? Farid, Enterprising Salvage is also here. Whenever a non-token artifact you control is pinned to a graveyard from the battlefield, create a colourless artifact token named Scrap. Okay. But we're not really interested in that bit. We're interested in the second bit. 1 and a red, sacrifice an artifact. Hello, treasure tokens. Put a +1/+1 counter on Farid against Menace. Goad, target creature. Discard a card, draw a card. So, we're obviously doing this for the sack an artifact and get the goading going. Gloin, I always get his name wrong. Gloin, I think it is. Dwarf Emissary. From the Lord of the Rings set, whenever you cast a historic spell, you get a treasure. This triggers only once a turn. Yeah, that's fair. But sacrifice a treasure, go target creature. Like that plan. That's cool. The Konami Battle Armor is also here. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has menace. So whenever it is equipped, it deals each creature that opponent controls. That's a nice little bit of equipment, or a dog. Try and protect it if you can. Ozorov, Advocist is also here. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. If that player does, creatures that player controls can't attack you or planeswalker you control until our next turn. Little bit of defense. People like building up their creatures quite bigly. Wildfire Awakener gives us a whole load of tokens that help us attack with Aurelia, so we get the damage and the card draw if we need to. Plus the fact that when their tokens become tapped, they sort of like ping that player. Or a player. It deals 1 damage to target player. So, yeah. Doesn't seem much of this card. I think we should see more of it, but we aren't at the moment, so it's all good. Zorn is here just to help us get more treasures if we make the treasures, so we've got a few ways of doing them. And then I had to play the other versions of Aurelia, so the Exemplar of Justice is here for the mentor bit, and the Pump and the Vigilance and Trample. Baird, Steward of Argive, makes an appearance to give us a little bit of protection. You know, every creature has to pay 1 to attack, and we've got a few other ways of doing it coming up shortly. Blood Boil Sorcerer, get the initiative. By the by, whatever. Crown of Madness, though, 1 and a red, sacrifice an artifact or creature, go to target creature, so it's another way of using your treasure tokens up. Or some of our soldier artifact tokens that Muriel will hopefully produce. Porphyros, God of the Forge, gives us a way to get some damage through off our token producers, so, you know, Anime and Muriel. Windborn Muse, another way of slowing down the attacking. 2/3 were flying. People have to pay 2 to attack with each creature. Adrien, Captain of the Guard, is also here. Creatures you control have melee, and it has melee itself, so, you know, whenever this creature attacks, you don't get the melee ruling. It gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn for each opponent you attacked with a creature this combat. Okay then. Battlefire Liege. Again, a card we don't see much of nowadays in Commander, but other red creatures get +1/+1. Other white creatures get +1/+1. You cast a red spell, you lightning bolt something. You cast a white spell, you healing salve yourself. For those of you who don't remember what healing salve is, you gain 3 life. I'm getting old. Right, Bassandra, the Battle Seraph. I quite like this one. Players can't cast spells during combat, so it means you do get your attacks in. So, yeah, that's nice. But you can force creatures to attack, which is nice. You pay 1 red mana. If you've got some ways of protecting yourself, like, you know, Bowrad or the Windborn Muse or some of the stuff that's coming up, it's quite a nice way of forcing your opponent's creatures to attack. And then they have to go and attack someone who isn't you 9 times out of 10, so they won't have the mana to pay it. But bear that in mind. Port Razor deals combat damage to a player. Untap each creature you control. After this combat, there is an additional combat phase. I put this in because I figured repeated combat phases with this deck could be quite useful, especially if we've got, you know, Amin on the prowl, or where is he gone? Lost him. There he goes, Marielle or something like that. You know, with Porphyros in play, seemed like a good plan to try out the Port Razor here. Hence why it's here. The other version of Aurelia, the War Leader's here, which gives you an additional combat step as well, so that's quite cool. Death's Kiss lets you do the whole monstrosity thing, and whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks one of your opponents, double its power until the end of turn. But when you make it monstrous and you put all the extra +1/+1 counters on it, you get to goad up to X target creatures your opponents control. So yeah, it has a nice timing and it's pretty good fun. Geode Arager is also here. Landfall, you get to goad each creature target player controls. You may want to sort the mana base out because of this, but I think 1 landfall trigger of this is enough a turn. But you can see in a minute when we get that. And obviously, the Gisela Blade of Gold Knight is also in this deck. If a source would deal damage to an opponent or permanent opponent controls, it deals double. Source would deal damage to you, half it. Seemed like a good deck to have this one in. We have a lot of spells in this deck. I mean, we're playing 25 creatures, but we have a lot of spells, so hopefully we'll be able to get a Wheel of Fate to get rid of our hand if it's rubbish and get a new one. Condemn, Path to Exile, give us a bit of targeted removal for some of the things that may be attacking us. If we've had, you know, there's only us and one other opponent left, and we've goaded their creatures. Aureol's Fury just does some damage. Might be a win condition for us at the end of the day. Lightning Helix, it is coming back, but yeah, Lightning Helix has been around for a while, so we might as well have it in here. 3 damage to a creature or player and you gain 3. Spectacular Showdown. put a double strike counter on target creature, then goad each creature that had a double strike counter put on it this way. The reason it's here is for its 7 mana casting cost for overloading. It basically means you can just sit there and go, la-di-da-di-da, I'm going to watch you kill everyone else as you all attack each other. Just be careful. Make sure that someone's going to, or you've got enough defense in case they do come after you if you're the last opponent left after a couple of attacks. Chaos Warp, get rid of something, replace it. Jessica's Will is here for the mana ramp and the card draw. Teferi's Protection can save us. It's a very nice little combo if you do the whole Overload a Spectacular Showdown, by the way, followed up by Teferi's Protection. You just sit there and go on then, go and kill each other, and it's all worn off then, you haven't got to worry about it. A Chroma's Wheel gives all your creatures, well, you know the score with this one, one shot win condition. Disrupt Discorum gives you another way of goading all creatures you don't control. Again, it's another one you can hide behind if need be. Wrath of God, a little bit of board control along with Blasphemous Fact, and then Taunt from the Rampart, which believe came in Lord of the Rings. Gold all creatures your opponents control until your next turn those creatures can't block. Gives you a way of punching through for an alpha strike. That's fine. Mana, lots of artifacts in here. So Jeweled Lotus is here because I needed to make sure that we can get Aurelia back out. She does cost 5 to start with. If you remember, the casting cost is 5. But she'll die off and become 7 and 9, so I figured Jeweled Lotus, you can drop it if you want to. Likewise, a Chroma's Wheel can come out as well, just if you want to keep the price down on MTGO. Mana Crypt, Mox Tantalite, you're used to seeing them from me by now. Soul Talisman is also here. Elixir of Immortality, you've got to have a way of shuffling everything back in. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwasto, Marble Diamond, Fire Diamond, the medallions are here, and along with Talisman of Conviction. That's your ramp. Couple other things. Bloodthirsty Blade lets us goad creatures. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and is goaded. You can attach the blade to target creature and opponent controls. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. That's nice. Gives you a way of goading your opponent's creatures permanently. We've got the boots are here as well, just to give us a little bit of protection for Aurelia once we get her in play, just to make her hexproof. Don't think there's anything there I've missed out. Nope. Okay. Enchantments. This is where it gets interesting. Got one background, Popular Entertainment, because whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to play, go target creature that player controls. So, yeah, just remember, you can attack all of your opponents in a game of Commander, and this will trigger 3 times because you're attacking the player. Ghostly Prison. There's one of the cards I was talking about to make sure we can't be attacked too easily. Martial Impetus makes we enchant someone else's creature and it becomes goaded, which is nice. Along with Shining Impetus, that does the same idea. And whenever enchanted a creature attacks, we get a treasure token, which is even more fun for us. Anointed Procession gives us a way of doubling up our creature tokens and the artifact tokens we were getting, like the treasure ones. Yeah, Smothering Tithe. I don't think a lot of people like Smothering Tithe anymore. I do. Trove of Temptation is a different one. It's a little bit different. It's from the original Ixalan set. I've included it here because with the amount of stuff we've got, like Ghostly Prison, Bed, Windborne Muse, I think we're not going to be attacked that often, so it's not that much of an issue. But it's just repeated treasure, which gives us a nice one to sacrifice out for the goading effects we need. Assemble the Legion just gives us an army eventually to attack with, and Sphere of Safety lets us hide behind it and protect ourselves. The lands, we're playing 36. Nothing too unexpected, just red and white lands all the way through. Nothing that you wouldn't expect to see in one of my decks. I have got Minas Tirith in here, which I think is worth pointing out. We do have quite a few creatures attackers. It gives another way to draw a card each turn, which is nice. I've got into the Bivouac, sorry. I quite like this one. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It's a lovely little combo. Yeah, I know you don't play Dexers, but yeah, put the +1/+1 counter on enemy or towel before the trigger resolves. It works. It's nice. Temple of the False God, Reliquary Tower, the usual selections. 8 mountains, 7 plains, and that's it. That is my little bonus take on Aurelia, the lore above this week. Another deck tech tomorrow, but please, if you can, hit the sub button. I know I've already asked you once, but please do it again. As I sit and record this, I'm sitting at 298, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll still get to 300 subscribers here on YouTube by Christmas. But thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this little thing. I will come back to Aurelia in the future once we've seen some more of the set from the Murders of Karloff Manor. But for now, I think this is a great starting point, and it might be you can do something, get Aurelia somehow, and start practicing with this deck. But thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.